and pried out of. It just sort of, this rock just appeared from out of nowhere. And I looked for this thing, and I went up to the hill and thinking that maybe it rolled down the hill from somewhere. But then you would think with this large rock like this rolling down that there'd be dirt on it, some sort of mud, some sort of any type of thing on this boulder, I guess you would say, or you would notice it in the dirt where it hit some other rocks out of the wall. There would have been a space out of the wall where the rock used to be. It was just odd and just a weird thing that I wasn't able to figure out how this thing actually got there. It was just sort of just a weird occurrence that just weird stuff, and that's the things, mysterious areas. So, like I said, if you have a story that you've had of an experience or something like that, that's what I'm sort of looking for, is your true personal experiences of strange things, that occurrences that you had out in the bush or even in the city, paranormal, UFO, cryptid wise, little people, Bigfoot, aliens, dogmen, just anything that you think, ghosts, walking by some sort of area where you've had this, or even in your home. And I do have one story. I got one that somebody submitted to me, so I'll read this one off quickly here. And this is sort of a nice little story. And like I said, you send me these stories or whatever, stuff like that. I'll keep it anonymous. I'll keep it confidential. That I won't use your name and stuff like that, unless you want me to use your name and you want to share this like that way or stuff like that. But otherwise, I'll just read them anonymously and at the best that I can. But if you can, with some of these things, if you're able to send a picture or add the area where this happened and the year that this happened or something like that, that's all adds to the story that makes this sort of interesting. Okay, so this is one that was submitted to me that I got earlier today. So this is I'll read it here. I remember before my estranged husband died in 2003, my middle daughter would take him to get his groceries and do other tasks with him. Being close to him, she asked her dad in 2001 if he could fix her fan above her stove, which was working correctly. After completion, my daughter was very pleased that it worked great with no problems. And here's where it gets eerie. Upon his death, I would visit my daughter, and she would explain to me the light attached to the fan hood would flicker on and off unexpectedly at random times. I told my daughter her dad's spirit has not left this earth yet. For her, had uh, my dad's her dad's spirit had not left this earth yet, for she needs to forgive him for his passing. Once she did verbally forgave her dad and said she loved him, the fan never flickered again. See, that's the sort of things I'm sort of looking for. Those are sort of really interesting stories. Now, can you prove that was the spirit and stuff like that? There's no way to know. Could it have been? For sure. That's the interesting thing about it. And whether just some sort of weird stuff sort of happens, like I said, like in the stories that I was, or the events, the occurrences that happened at with me at the other house that we were at, and stuff that was happening here. There's things that I'm not 100% uh, convinced that it is a ghost or a spirit or something like that, but I'm not 100% convinced that it isn't. Like I haven't been able to prove it either which way, or and that's I think that sort of was really, I find sort of interesting. And there's a, like I was saying, I was sort of babbling here, that like there's a lot of these channels and stories out here where people have talked about these things. And that's why I found it interesting when I was talking with Varla there yesterday and the times before about these stories of the myth and lore of these uh, fairy folk, little people, Bigfoot, giants. And as you sort of you do lots of research into this stuff, like, or reading that I have done and watching a lot of stuff where these stories come from, you look back in the past that these occurrences of these strange things that aren't human or human size uh, appear in these stories. Like even in the Old Testament in the Bible, they talk about spirits. They talk about giants that once roamed the land and stuff like that, or were part of areas, and they're written about it right in the Old Testament. And angelic beings, demons. I don't think they mentioned demons in there, but nefarious spirits and stuff like that. And then if you get into Chinese mythology and lore, and Japanese and Indian, I'm talking like India over there, and Australia, the nomadic people there, their stories uh, of sky people, of large people, giant type people. You get these magical people. You have things that are written into there in their religions and stories and stuff like that of flying ships back then. You have that in South America. These large birds. Even in North America too, the thunderbird. And actually, it was a sort of an interesting one that Varla brought up yesterday. Is the way that flocking birds can move together, can actually look look like something bigger. And she had a couple of photos there where I think it was a bunch of blackbirds flocking together, and the way that they were flocking and moving, somebody snapped a picture, and the way they were bunched together made them look like a big, huge black bird, like the size of I don't know what you'd say, like about 50, 60 feet wingspan and stuff like that. So you can see where sometimes that maybe some of this stuff can be explained away that you would think that that's what it might be, but other things you really can't explain away, and you can't really prove them to other people, and that's the fun about them yet, and that's what the adventure is all about. And that's why, like I said, if you have stories, send them there to the delicious stories at gmail.com. And hopefully I can do this whatever, if I get enough of these constantly, I can do a show like this once a month where I read these anonymous stories of true things there. And by reading these things, maybe some people out there might have had similar experiences or something like that, and know that this is not just being selectively just happening to them, that it actually could be going on in many, many places, like I believe that it is. And it's just fun to share these stories and to read them, and see how bigger this world is and how much smaller it is at the same time. But as we're getting close to our time here, we have, I believe, it's Trip in the Void with Laura Lee and Seraphine coming up next here on UPRN. And I just want to thank you for tuning in to the delicious recipe. And thank you all, and I'll see you all next week.